right, we're almost up and running. Sorry for the delay. I had people on my roof. Literally. Here we go. 1 second. Okay, so first of all, lots of things have happened. Hi, welcome to Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. I'm Hal Sparks, your host. I will be Hal Sparksing the rest of the evening. If you're interested in Hal Sparks, this is your Hal Sparks destination for me to Hal Sparks. Now, why do I say Hal Sparks over and over again? Because it's a stupid thing to talk about yourself in the third person. I agree, but it works. And until such time as it stops working, I'm going to use it. I'm not going to drive a nail with the palm of my hand just because I can when I'd rather keep them smooth and kissable and use a hammer. So that said, welcome to Hal Sparks Land. There's too much to cover today. We covered a little bit this morning before the guy showed up to jump up on my roof and improve my solar. Sounds weird. By the way, welcome chat room. Let's bring you guys in here. Hello. How's it going? What's happening? Throw some emojis in there. Subscribe on Twitch. Patreon.com/HalSparks, all that stuff. I always forget to say it. Super chats, thank you for those. Keeps the show afloat. Memberships, you can gift them or just have them. What else am I supposed to do? Fuck it. Anyway, so see, the sharing and the liking, that's free, and you can do that, and that's just lovely. And let me tell you, if you want to, every time someone shares my show, a maggot loses his shit. If you really want to irritate these folks, you got to help me get everywhere. Because I seriously feel like I'm the only person that can take the hits that's out there, like, completely. I feel like I'm the, like... I mean, there's a reason why one of my favorite pictures in the world is the Captain America against Thanos' army with the broken shield and the broken arm just walking towards him. My Venmo sign, you're right, it is not up right now. I'll put it up on the other thing. Was that? But I think, hold on, is my audio working? Hold on. My my earphone just made one of those weird, like, I don't feel like working noises. Let's see if I can grab one of these.
It's all over the country.
Okay, I hear something. Okay, so I'll just have to put this guy in its cradle and let it charge because I can hear with the other one, or maybe this thing just needs to wake up. But either way, here I am. So where was I? Like, and I'm amazing and all that kind of stuff. But share the show out because I really feel like I got to ratchet my numbers up as we get towards 2026 so that I'm talking across the fucking podcast zone with these assholes with 1 million subscribers, because they're just not going to take the show seriously, and they don't want to. Let's be abundantly clear. Folks, I have more real subscribers than a lot of these folks do, actual human beings. But because they use bots and all this stuff, they puff their numbers up, and they don't want to take me seriously. So we got to make them. It's got to be a moral imperative, as Chris Knight would say. So, solar for water or heat. It's solar for electricity. We have a tankless water heater. I'm trying to seal this place down as environmentally conscious as I possibly can be. Thank you, Alyosha, for being on Twitch, because you are awesome. My goal on this house that we live in right now is to take it off the grid. I know I can't, because of the grid around here, like it's going to remain hooked up for sales purposes. But if I could make this thing isolated so it does not require a draw from the electrical grid, that feels like it'd be a good thing. Yes? Like, I feel like that's one of the ways I would be contributing. And so we have solar panels on top of the house, and we added 6 more panels. It's been 4 years since we put the original setup on here. And so we measured how much energy the house is using, and God knows, with my crazy basement setup and my guitar amps, I'm sure that, well, the truth is, this whole thing draws about as much as a toaster. But still, I think I probably draw more than most people in my neighborhood. I mean, my next door neighbor has like an esports team that practices in his garage, so I think they're probably sucking up the internet nearby and using a lot of, like, they're cooking shit with their with their video cards, right? So, but my goal would be to, make my system, take my system off the grid and make my life less of a drag. If I can't improve, I guess. Well, I can do both. As I improve the lives of other people, which is the goal of my life through education and information and entertainment. At the same time, I can eliminate parts of me that might be a drag, right? Over time, you start, narrowing what you need and what you take from the commons. Yeah? Thank you for that, Nigger Crinkles, right? And so if I can lower my impact and the grid is out there and there's an emergency and I'm not a draw on it, that would be awesome. Oh, September 25th, Harry Dunn and I have the same birthday? That's awesome. That's very cool. So anyways, there you go. Now, there's a lot to cover today. We spoke a little bit about there's like a... Jesus, they cut up slices of RFK Jr. and there's plenty to watch. But there's a lot of stuff that's going on that I think deserves our attention. I have committed myself to not following the laser pointer. I am not going to automatically online, and I know it will cost me viewers because people looking for a dopamine fix or an outrage boner are going to feel a little disappointed by my channel at times, because I'm going to focus more on shrugging off the small things and solving long-term the big things. Yes? Is that okay with everybody? I hope so, because that's what I'm going to do. And I thank you very much, Sarasota, for FOH. So, where we go? Hi, Nancy Rose. Hello, OMG. Hello. I had to reload my chat up here because I couldn't see you guys for a second. So I was trying to read both directions like that, which is not helpful. So explain the rescind, unrescind, pause. Sorry, say that again. I'm so confused now. I think I'm in the middle of something. Fuck the outrage boner. Yes, but that, hey, it's a fucking industry. Remember that guy? Okay. Remember that guy, what's his name? Tommy Bilge Pump. What's his name? Hold on. Yeah, there he is. Let's see. Impact Theory. That's this dude's fucking channel. Hold on. I want to show you something, because he's getting a response. This is one of these guys who used to do a show like that was like what he calls spiritual entertainment, which is like positivity and growth and you know business expansion, all the stuff that's difficult because you have a lot of competition. And he decided he wanted to be kind of like the crypto geek Alex Jones. Like everybody's trying to slice off a chunk of that shit. Okay, and no, I fuck this. I'm gonna look at my history because I watched part of this. I want to show you the tail end of this shit because it's indicative of what I've been talking about in terms of people like monetizing the outrage stream. And let's see, yeah, scrolling. What the fuck was that? Just open it. It was from his show couple of days ago. It was because in the like description of this shit, it had Jesus Christ, the days pass so fucking fast that I honestly, this might have been days ago. I'm like, everything's folding in on its fucking self. Yeah, it was before that. I'm scrolling. Work with me. Hold on one second, because I'm finding something, and I think it's kind of crucial to how these assholes talk. Oh, and I do have something else to show you. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, we'll do this first. Oh my God, the amount of shit I watch just to keep up with these dickheads is fucking brutal. Trump just out? No, because I went all the way to the end of it. Son of a bitch. You are so stupid, Tommy Bellio, you stupid shit. Okay, fuck it. I'm going to show you something else because I'll dig it up later. But the point is that at the end of his show, they were doing like viewer questions, and somebody started pushing back on it. Like he was getting a question that brought up the point that I brought up, which is like, you're just marketing outrage and fear for a fucking living now. Now, hold on one second. Let me pause this. Let me tell you. I almost, I had to go outside, so I had my keys line. I have a pathological aversion to like monetizing fear and panic and worry and disdain. Like, it's really fucking hard. Like, and I get it. You can make a shit ton of money off this, right? I get it. But I'm just not gonna fucking do it. I believe in you guys, and I believe that there's an audience out there for people who, you know, for occasionally, even if you just want to break from the outrage dopamine, sleigh ride you're on all the time, where somebody can come along and go, okay, worry doesn't help. Let's look at what we can fix. And let's prepare ourselves with information and emotional resilience for when shit does happen, so that when it happens right in front of us, we can be the gift in that moment. That's what matters to me, right? That's what matters, okay? And it's not like, again, you know how they always tell you, like, look at the market and differentiate yourself. And they go, well, that's what I'm fucking doing, basically. And there are so many people out there selling panic and selling derision and division. And it's, look, I get it. It's a great moneymaker. You can pave your driveway with it. Good for fucking you. I'm not going to do it. That's crucial. So anyways, I'm just letting you know. And so what we're going to do is look at, as we continue to watch how these talking points come up, and see how we, myself included, but also you, can look at these arguments before they reach the zenith of Trump world, and by understanding them, then we have a rebuttal to them that isn't just circle jerk, wanking jargon onto a, I don't know, something in the middle, a goat. I don't know I gotta get invited to these circle jerks. I just don't do it. I can't go to the Hollywood ones. The DC ones won't. I guess maybe it's just because I'm my moral compass is so severe when it engages that they're afraid a cinder block will be nearby and one of them will be one of the awfuls and they'll just have to be done away with. And they're like, well, you invited him. So, because that's, you do not or will not be a lobbyist? No, right. And yeah, I do need to reach around just from a promotional standpoint. How are you going to Google fact check when everything in White House is official BS? Doesn't matter. Like, it was that way before. Still was able to do it. And the truth doesn't shift. Again, Trump can fucking say he turned on a giant faucet or moved the moon to slow down the tides. It doesn't change it. And you don't have to pretend it's true just because he says so. And yes, I'm a positivity rebel. It's a great idea. You said positive rebel, but Georgina, I'm going to run with that, and I'm going to. But that's the case I'm making. And if you don't want to participate in that, or you think that's not the way to go, I got news for you. There's plenty of shit to watch. But to me, this is too important to let them hijack any of my skill or intellect or humor or all the tools that I have, even if it's just to be annoyingly positive in the face of difficulty. Because even if that alone irritates the fuck out of those people, out of the maggot world, it's worth it. It has value just for that, right? Because they'll jack off to your outrage. They'll fap to your horror and sadness and the leaking of your empathy. But they are completely fucking puzzled when you're like, that all you got? You just look at your fucking watch and watch their time and power tick by. Like it's going to stay. I mean, because I know they want to believe that. I'm sure there was a period where some Democratic leaders believed that it would never change again and Republicans would never come back into power, right? That's a thing. Okay, TikTok, motherfucker. So on we go. Now, we're not going to watch all of these because I know some of you hate these people, and that's just part of it. And also, a lot of this is just a long drag. And I don't do... I don't pre-watch some of these things, especially when there's long-form videos. I don't pre-watch them so that I can take the dumbest part out and give you the illusion that the rest of it was somehow reasonable, which I think is the mistake when people take clips from people's videos or clips from people's speeches. The problem is that you take away this idea like, oh, you attacked that part because they flubbed or they fucked up, but the rest of it was awesome. That's how they've sold Trump for a long time. Not going to do it. So I'm going top to bottom and all these kind of things. I'll bail out like any viewer of these videos because that's a reasonable prerogative, right? But I'm not going to give them the illusion of competence by only grabbing one little piece. And by the way, I already signed up for White House press credentials. Who said that? Hold on. Skip. Yes, I already did it. I already filled it out. Now I'm on some sort of list, I'm sure. I'm sure I'm on like a no-fly list and I can't go to Dulles anymore. So anyways, I did fill it out and I did list it as all the mediums that I'm on. And so they're probably watching right now. Hi. I don't like you. Person watching in the White House, and I hate your fucking boss. However, I'm an American, and I love this country. So, unless you're chicken shit, you should give me credentials. Because I will fly to D.C. just specifically to sit there and ask questions about your ignorance about AI, how he's going to answer when the tariffs don't provide the kind of, earnings he's expecting, and why the price of eggs is going to continue to climb because RFK Jr. isn't going to do shit about bird flu. I think those are reasonable questions. So I want to welcome the whatever maggot is assigned in the White House to watch shit and check people out. And I'm going to challenge that person to not be a total pussy in their parlance. I know you guys like to do the pretend alpha male thing. And I know with that, your idea of an alpha male is somebody with short hair, a big gut, and a small penis. And I don't qualify on any of those. But I feel like maybe, and I know you don't want to diversify your idea of what masculinity is to get actual masculinity back in there. The fearless aspects of being what I would call tonic masculinity. So if you're not a chicken shit, let me have a credential. Just saying. So here we go. Off to this dickhead. Glenn shaved. I think it was because I've been growing a goat. Glenn shaved. Either that or he's hiding a cold sore. I don't know. But expose the truth. California fires and New Jersey drones. Government secrets exposed. Now, for those of you that don't know, wait, let me, you know what? I don't even know what the fuck he's going to say. But let me do this. Let's see. White House first press conference. Let me get this up. Because I don't know if you know, but they had their first official press conference. So White House press conference. Presence. Delivered first White House president. Okay. Watch live White House press rate. Carolyn Levitt. There we go. And she comes out. And, oh, shit. Okay, so. Are you guys? Okay. Why am I not hearing that? So, yeah. Hold on. Headphone shift. Oh, because my headphones got kicked off or something. 1 second. It just died. I don't know why that would be doing it. Scroll down here. Will work, and I'll be able to hear. Okay, yeah, now I can hear it. Okay, so, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe. So, this is the first official White House press briefing from Carolyn Levitt. And I want you to, we don't have to watch the whole thing. We don't need to watch, it's the same, she screams, she's like Sean Spicer in drag. She's just yelling and kind of like irritated and perturbed the whole fucking time. But I want you to pay close attention to the announcement she makes about drones in the beginning. This is the key part. Get out of here and do the lady thing. And why does my headphones keep dropping down? Okay, we're just going to go to this. I just got to go to my hardwire day. Sorry. Apparently, the battery in those things is just not... it's not up to snuff. Okay, yeah, so let me go to here. And she walks out. There we go. See what the...
It has already confirmed...
Hold on. A lot of this is just like, chest beating bullshit, which Trump insists on. We've seen it all before. Come on, lady.
A lot of familiar faces in the room, a lot of new faces. And President Trump is back, and the golden age of America has most definitely begun. The Senate has already confirmed 5 of President...
Yes, we are going back in time to... Remember the golden age of America? Sort of the Gilded Age when the disparate economics of class was enormous and people lived in dirt huts in the Midwest and shit like that. That's what we're bringing back, the golden age.
Exceptional cabinet nomination.
It's like the inverse of when they called the Dark Ages, when it was really just Europe. Europe had a dark age. There's mainly because of the rescinding of the Mongols and disease, but that's what made it dark for a little while. Everybody else was kind of fine.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent.
I thought Kristi Noem was stepping aside and Dr. Phil was taking over.
It is imperative that the Senate continues to confirm the remainder of the president's well-qualified nominees
Okay, so RFK Jr. and Tulsi, they can just chuck? Okay, cool.
As quickly as possible. As you have seen during the past week...
Yeah, because if anybody gets a good long look at these motherfuckers, he's in trouble.
President Trump is hard at work fulfilling...
Well, he's certainly not smart at work.
...the promises that he made to the American people on the campaign trail. Since taking the oath of office, President Trump has taken more than 300 executive actions.
Yeah, so what? Again, these executive actions have to stand up to legal scrutiny. They actually have to be implementable. You can, half of them were like, we're going to make America awesome, right?
Secured nearly $1 trillion in U.S. investments, deported illegal alien rapists, gang members.
Just specifically the rapists? Is that where he's starting?
And suspected terrorists from our homeland.
Well, I mean, I guess if there were those that probably live in Florida, and he's probably got their personal number, so.
And restored common sense to the federal government. I want to take a moment to go through some of these extraordinary actions.
Great.
On day one, President Trump declared a national emergency at our southern border.
Right, because he couldn't trust that even with control of the House and the Senate, he'd actually be able to pass a bill. So he has to use emergency powers, which gives him extraordinary control over it. I mean, think of this as the authorized use of military force, but for the American territories. And then think again how conservatives would normally be against something like this. Can you imagine if Joe Biden declared an emergency at the border so that he could use U.S. troops to patrol Texas, Arizona, and Southern California and New Mexico? I'm sure the Alex Joneses of the world would take it all in stride.
To end the 4-year-long invasion of illegal aliens under the previous administration.
And get back to the actual invasion that happened while he was president.
Additionally, President Trump signed an executive order to end catch and release and finish construction of his effective border wall.
Oh, which part of it was that? Because the rest of it sucks. The part that didn't blow over, or the part that people can't just walk around?
By using every lever of his federal power, President Trump has sent a loud and clear message to the entire world. America will no longer tolerate illegal immigration. And this president expects that every nation on this planet will cooperate with the repatriation of their citizens.
Because he promised this, and if they don't do it, they're going to make him look like a right prick.
As proven by this weekend, when President Trump swiftly directed his team to issue harsh and effective sanctions and tariffs on the Colombian government, upon hearing they were denied a U.S. military aircraft full of their own citizens who were deported by this administration. Within hours, the Colombian government agreed to all of President Trump's demands, proving America.
No, they didn't. No. First of all, they didn't want the prisoner, the ones them all shackled. They only wanted the people that were effectively criminals to be shackled, and they wanted information on those people, and they got it. Also, if I may, see if there's a. Is it in this one? Where is it? Yeah, here it is. They were also taken off of a military plane and flown on a passenger plane, which was the biggest thing Colombia had an issue with, was that the military planes flying over their territory. Like, you don't get to fly military planes over our territory without permission and land them wherever the fuck you want. So Trump bent. He did. They put them on a regular passenger plane and sent them just like previous administrations have done. That's it. They didn't want a military plane. Trump said, okay, and they took the people that they've taken. It's just bullshit. It's just lame. Try harder. So let's get to the...
is once again respected on the world stage.
Well, they fear our nuclear arsenal and our military, especially in the hands of a lunatic. And I'm sure there are countries that didn't invade King George's England because they're like, that dude has fucking syphilis. He'll set everybody on us, and they have to follow or they get their heads cut off. So there's probably a little bit of that, but it isn't respect.
So, to foreign nationals who are thinking about trying to illegally enter the United States...
Yeah, foreign nationals, you should watch yourself.
Think again. Under this
and in English.
President, you will be detained and you will be deported. Every day.
In that order, or?
Americans are safer because of the violent criminals.
Yeah, somebody in the chat just pointed out, but like Biden flew 500 planes to Colombia, dropping people off, specific repatriations. They just used a civilian aircraft to do it. That was the only hang up. Just stupid.
that President Trump's
He
administration...
wanted to use these military planes to be macho, and he's even bragged about it. He bragged about it at the Lake and Riley signing today. Same thing. And all these countries are just going, fuck you. You don't get to land military planes in our country unless you have a base here. And you don't get to fly them over our territory, and we just let you. It's bad precedent.
...is removing from our communities. On January 23rd, ICE New York arrested a Turkish national for entry without inspection who is a known or suspected terrorist.
Which is it? Is it just because he was Turkish? Has anybody got eyes on Cenk or Hassan for that matter? Known or suspected? I would think the known part would be the reason it's picked up. Suspected sounds like you looked at him and you're like, that guy looks like a terrorist to me. Known or suspected, because a Turkish person might look Arab to an asshole. That's I don't like that guy, I'm gonna call it in.
On January 23rd, ICE San Francisco arrested a citizen of Mexico unlawfully present in the United States who has been convicted of continuous sexual abuse of a child aged 14 years or younger.
So he's grooming someone. You know what? Don't tell us the details, because I would hate to find out that he entered the country in 2017 and he got a pass because of Trump's earlier orders.
ICE St. Paul has arrested a citizen of Honduras who was convicted of fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct with a minor. ICE Buffalo arrested a citizen of Ecuador who has been convicted of rape. ICE Boston arrested a citizen of the Dominican Republic who has...
And by the way, you're scooping up hundreds of people, sometimes thousands in the week, and you got one per city. I mean, it's hard to guess what the actual per capita situation would be in this circumstance, but it doesn't seem like it's making your case.
And when you say per capita, there's many per capitas. It's like per capita relative to what?
Right. So the sex offenders are finally getting picked up, I guess, since they got a pass during Trump and were living under the radar or something.
A criminal conviction for second-degree murder.
Also, by the way, no one has a problem with this. This happens all the fucking time. Right? That's the thing. The government does this constantly. They find somebody and they punt them. Especially, and it is one of the exceptions that even sanctuary cities do with ICE. They're just making noise about it. And this goes to my whole point about Democrats need to start beating their chest when they do good things. Even if they don't please the entire diverse group that we represent as the Democratic Party, right? If there will be some squealing around if people are half informed or don't really care to listen to the details of it, or they extrapolate it onto a greater group of people. Okay, it's crucial. Nothing has changed. They're just making more noise.
This criminal was convicted of murder for beating his pregnant wife to death in front of her 5-year-old son.
Yes, was he convicted in the United States and then charged, and you picked him up in jail because he was charged and convicted? You're just punting him. So you're taking this guy who's an illegal immigrant who came in here. He's a murderer and he's a violent predator. And what you're doing is, we got this dude in jail, and instead of working with whatever country he came from to transfer him to their jail, you're just flying him there and pushing him out of the fucking plane on the tarmac and going, there's plenty of women you could beat to death here. Bye.
And
he's just freeing them. And if that dude has a fucking grudge, what's to stop him from trying to sneak back into the country later? You've let him out of jail. You had him.
St. Paul also arrested a citizen of Mexico who was convicted of possessing pornographic material of a minor on a work computer.
I didn't know Matt Gaetz was Mexican. I'm kidding.
These are the heinous individuals that this administration is removing from American communities.
Yeah, what was that, like 7 people? Again, this is what every president does, every Homeland Security does all the time. It's what DHS does all the time. It's what Customs and Border Patrol does all the fucking time. You don't get extra points, because the issue we have is not with those kind of people being deported or transferred from our jail to another jail. Nobody has a problem with that. It's the scooping up of families, and pretending they're all that guy.
every single day, and to the brave state and local law enforcement officers, CBP, and ICE agents who are helping in the facilitation of this deportation operation, President Trump has your back, and he is grateful for your hard work.
But if you refuse to snatch a baby out of a woman's hands or something and make a big scene on TV, he'll fire you.
On the economic front, President Trump took immediate action to lower costs for families who are suffering from 4 long years of the Biden administration's destructive and inflationary policies.
Oh yeah? So he's going to end bird flu?
President Trump ordered the heads of all executive departments and agencies to help deliver emergency price relief to the American people.
Oh, well then that should do it. Okay, thanks everybody. Well, I guess we'll just, let's just phone it in right now and we'll just hit it hard on Monday. What do you say? Sorry, again, what is this? Okay, and Jay, no. Fuck off with the ACAB stuff. One warning, no. No. Not here. There's plenty of places you can blather that bullshit. Not here.
Angle our economy from Biden's regulatory constraints and end the reckless war on American energy.
Oh, you mean the period of time where Biden actually increased oil production to the highest it's ever been? That war? Which apparently, for all these forever wars that Democrats are allegedly starting, they continue on with them. Like, I guess they're just unsuccessful at warmongering when it comes to a war on, I don't know, American energy production.
President Trump also signed sweeping executive orders to end the weaponization of government and restore common sense to the federal bureaucracy.
Yeah, real quick. Is that executive order enforceable by law? Because I have a feeling he's going to do a bunch of that shit, and I guess did he just write that so that Adam Schiff could sue him? You know what I mean? Like all the people he's planning on going after or that he's firing, that would be the weaponization of government, right? All these people that he's allegedly DEI firing sounds like the weaponization. It's using the ability to fire in a blanket way towards people who, are being fired without cause.
He directed all federal agencies to terminate illegal diversity, equity, and inclusion programs to help.
Okay, so the legal ones stay? Like, what's illegal about them? I'm sorry, is the government just not going to have an HR thing anymore? Is that what it is? Are there just too many rapists in the White House and they don't want any of the women, to have anywhere to go? Or quite frankly, I don't want to be sexist about this. I'm sure there's some, gay, predators in there as well, in and around Trump. I think the primary thing isn't your target, like who you're after, but it's the lack of consent they like.
Return America to a merit-based society.
So you quit, or?
President Trump also signed an executive.
You couldn't find somebody who can't yell, Also, by the way, I don't want to blow it for you, but you do realize you were hired because members of the press that are against the president will have a harder time talking shit to a woman because they're more respectful. It's not a problem the right wing has, and you're on their team anyways. So they'll just talk through you and look at you as kind of like a screen door to the president. But Democrats will actually talk nicer to you than you probably have earned.
Order declaring it is now the policy of the federal government that there are only 2 sexes, male and female.
Trump said genders earlier because he's stupid, but again, we're all women because of his executive order. I don't know if you heard that, but it's true. I am a woman now, and so is anyone who is watching. Everyone's a woman because it's your sex at conception, and at that point in a zygote / fetus's growth cycle, if that's even the part of the cycle, is the start. I guess it has to be technically. The second step is the journey. The first step is just standing. Anyways, point I'm trying to make is that we're all women because we are the sex we were at conception. Yes, Robert handed in his dick. I'm going to keep mine. Mainly because I hate to fly in the face of, public opinion in terms of, my worth.
Sanity has been restored. Before I take your questions, I would like to point out to all of you once again have access to the most transparent and accessible president in American history.
That is why I am going to read out loud the Epstein files every day before we start this, before we take questions from the press. Page 1, Trump's texts. Dear God. Page 2, visitor logs. God damn it. All right.
There has never been a president who communicates with the American people and the American press corps as openly and authentically.
Authentically. That's I guess that's a nice way of saying, with shitty grammar and a total misunderstanding of the normal function of words. No, and shitty syntax. He talks like me and y'all, like us as he's speaking. Know what I mean?
As the 45th and now 47th president of the United States. This past week, President Trump.
She's out of breath already. Do you notice that? This bullshit will not stand.
Trump has held multiple news conferences, gaggled on Air Force One multiple times.
He yammers. So what?
And sat down for a 2-part interview on Fox News, which.
Yeah, just they had to edit it. That's why it's in 2 parts. Because he needed a pee break? What are you talking about? Why is the fact that it's in 2 parts? How about an unedited one, right? How about, an hour-long interview with no breaks and no commercials so nobody could cut away and scissor, right? It's not going to happen.
Aired last week. As Politico summed it up best, Trump is everywhere again.
That's not a summation. It's a recognition of disgust. Ugh.
And that's because President Trump has a great story to tell about the legendary American revival that is well underway.
So it's a legendary story, apocryphal, you mean, fake? And he's got a great story to tell because he doesn't have any great facts yet. Just trust me. Just trust me on this.
And in keeping with this revolutionary media approach,
And keeping with this regular
that President Trump deployed during the campaign, the Trump White House will speak to all media outlets and personalities.
I put in my,
Not just the legacy media who are.
Well, I think of myself as a legend, so I'll take that under advisement. But
seated in this room, because according to recent polling from Gallup, Americans' trust in mass media has fallen to a record low.
yeah, because people think they should push harder. This is like the ACA polling or whatever. Half the people didn't like it because they didn't like it at all. The other half didn't like it because they wanted it to go way fucking further. And those 2 groups are not overlapping.
Millions of Americans, especially young people, have turned from traditional television outlets and newspapers to consume their news from podcasts, blogs, social media, and other independent outlets.
Many young Americans get all their sexual education information from Boys at the Bus Stop and Skinamax. So that's better.
It's essential to our team that we share President Trump's message everywhere and adapt this White House to the new media landscape in 2025.
Right.
To do this, I'm excited to announce the following changes will be made to this historic James S. Brady briefing room.
Yes, fucking, I don't, was it like Joe Rogan will be sitting in a corner. Jamie, can you get that nair from my shoulders? Jamie, put that thing up on the screen about that thing that if you get vaccinated, you start growing hair on your collarbones. Jamie, put that thing up. Give me a cigar filled with weed and some scotch, and so I can discuss health with people. Jamie, can you?
Mr. Brady's legacy will endure. This White House believes strongly in the First Amendment, so it's why our team will work diligently to
with right-wing media
restore the press passes of the 400.
Sorry, I have my hair's down, so I gotta I got to bring it into the bit, you know, just a thing.
140 journalists whose passes were wrongly revoked by the previous administration.
Yes, it was. They found it in a file under boo fuckity who.
We're also opening up this briefing room to new media voices who produce news-related content and whose
Now, I think I qualify. News-related content. It's pretty broad.
outlet is not already represented by one of the seats in this room. We welcome independent journalists, podcasters,
Student radio, like college radio. We want people who have zines.
social media influencers, and content creators to apply for credentials to cover this White House.
Oh, you mean to listen to you and write down what you say like stenographers?
And you can apply now on our new website, whitehouse.gov/new media.
Already did it. Just saying. Wait, hold on one second. Where is this? Where did my button go? There it is. Oh, shit. Why is it not working? Oh, because it's a different thing. God damn it. I had a total thing. I was very excited about it, and it went somewhere. Hold on. Nope, that's the kidney. Well, I think we heard that loud and clear. So,
Starting today, this seat in the front of the room, which is usually occupied by the press secretary's staff, will be called the new media seat.
sorry, there's like a kids' table now.
My team will review the applications and give credentials to new media applicants who meet our criteria and pass.
Which is ass kissers, I'm guessing. You're watching right now, I know, because I filled out the shit. So, and I won't swear when I'm there. I'm just saying, this is what I do on my show, but you do realize you're going to look really cowardly if you only, like, staff it with ass kissers. And I know you don't care, but you kind of do.
United States Secret Service requirements to enter the White House complex.
Is that, you can't have an awesome do? I'm screwed.
So in light of these announcements, our first questions for today's briefing will go to these new media members.
Okay, hold on. Where's the fucking thing about the drones? 1 second.
That's why he took very strong.
Hold on. I want to find her, like...
The president is in history. Thanks to us, you're welcome to cover this White House that are wildly popular. Everyone in this room to do the same. You need. This is not a blanket pause on federal assistance.
Oh, yeah.
That's why...
She's having to walk that shit back. Hold on. Was it right here? Wait.
Director John Ratcliffe, Homeland Security.
What the fuck did she do it at the tail end?
Operation from Mexico, but again, as far as I'm still tracking, and that was last night talking to the president directly, February 1st is still on the books. Phil.
It is, that's true. It's still in the calendar. Son of a bitch.
Good afternoon.
Hold on. Well, all right. Maybe this dickhead will play it. I think he probably will. Let's see.
Okay. Ukraine. Okay, well, actually, maybe a little more on some of these things, a little less on others. They're all lies.
By the way, if you're Glenn Beck, don't use the word moron because it kind of puts a big exclamation point over your head.
We're being lied to on all
Yeah, that's your whole show.
all of them. And this is just the beginning. Thank heavens we are only 5 days away from the fundamental transformation of the United States of America, as Barack Obama once said.
Oh, okay. So this is before she says that shit. Hold on. Give me 1 second, because I want to find this thing. It's going to drive me crazy. Anyway, back to the chat room. Let's see. White House press secretary statement on drones. All right, let's see. Video. There we go. Oh, I need to do the video of it. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Ha-ha. Okay. All right, and then put it on YouTube, and then pause it, and then I'll bring it up. This is good. Okay, here we go. So this is what I was talking about. All right, here we go. This was later at some point. I guess I must have skipped past it or something.
And before I turn to questions, I do have news directly from the President of the United States. That was...
Okay, here we go. This is going to be fun. Remember all the drone shit? Remember how it was clearly the government knows everything and it's not telling us anything? And the Biden administration and the FBI and stuff came out and said these are all just legal drones and you know, people with licenses, and then hobbyists jumped on the, you know, piggybacked on it. Remember that shit? Okay. Remember how that actually happened weeks ago?
It was just shared with me in the Oval Office from President Trump directly, an update on the New Jersey drones.
Right from him. He checked it out.
After research and study, the drones that were flying
Wait a minute. He didn't research and study it. Simmer down.
over New Jersey in large numbers were authorized to be flown by the FAA for research and various other reasons. Many of these drones were also hobbyists, recreational, and private individuals that enjoy flying drones. In time, it got worse due to curiosity. This was not the enemy.
Yeah, we know, asshole. Go back all over these fucking, like, videos, even after the Biden administration talked about this, and they're like, this is exactly what they said. You're just repeating it. What was it? Your extensive study was Biden was right. That the Biden administration was on top of it from the beginning. There was no big thing to be had. All this fucking fear mongering about fucking New Jersey drones is a bunch of bullshit. And instead of, and again, you want transparency? Does Trump owe an apology? And those who support him owe an apology to everyone for, you know, fear mongering about this when this is the story we heard weeks ago. Let's see, drones. Let's see, she got you the trying to find the, oh yeah, I'm trying to find the older ones. What the fuck? Okay, so it's now full. All the New Jersey drone shit is all her. Hold on. It's all this. It's just one after another of like, hey, turns out it was all bullshit. Trump's White House finally gives answer to drones that flew over New Jersey. Finally. And really.
From first official White House briefing about the mysterious drone sightings in New Jersey. We've been wondering about this. Take a listen.
We've been wondering about this. You know, the Biden administration said this exact statement, and we didn't believe them. And now look.
After research,
So
they got
in a little bit.
This was not the enemy.
Okay, so Dagan, a little bit of information on the
Yeah, because the enemy, most of the time, the enemy is not going to be FAA compliant. You absolute assholes. I don't even know why they would have any fucking lights on at all. Dummy. So anyways, it's still like everywhere for weeks, and they're like, I don't know. Yeah, there's Weekend Update talking about it a month ago. There's drones, airplanes, or UAPs, how to tell the difference from Business Insider. If we scroll back far enough, you know, you guys remember the fucking panic. But now, look at this. Look at the whole, like, all this is like, well, it was exactly what Biden said it was. Was it Trump reveals drones, reveals the mystery drones, breaking news. What the fuck? Drone Camps Show is an actual show name? What the fuck? Simmer the fuck down. Drone reports are misidentified plane sightings. Ex-FBI, he was right. Except we have mysterious drones over parts of the absolutely useless. New Jersey mayor shreds Biden administration over drone response, which turned out to be completely the right response. Shocking footage of New Jersey drone shooting. Human or alien tech? Human. Stupid. Remember this shit? This was all Biden's fault too. Mysterious drones authorized by mysterious drones authorized by White House. Daily headlines. This is not going the way they thought. Like this story, the way they wanted it to. Mysterious drones authorized by White House is the name of this. No, they're not authorized. The FAA said that they are compliant drones, dummy. Is that a person? Sorry, this dude said
From
this?
the newsroom.
The White House has set the record straight about those mysterious drone sightings in New Jersey.
Yeah, no.
Many of these drones were also
Many of these drones were flying around with complete impunity, staring down girls' blouses.
hobbyists, recreational, and private.
Yeah, we
Worst
saw it.
Which symbolizes how close humanity is to destruction.
You don't get to jump to the fucking doomsday clock, asshole. You get fucking hell. Anyways, all right. So back to dipshit. There we go. Where are we?
We are 5 days away from Donald Trump.
Okay. Yeah, shut up. All right. So he grew it back, I guess. So this is actually the video I was interested in looking at, which is, are you kidding me? Ron DeSantis exposes Florida rhinos backstabbing Trump on immigration. To Florida? How dare you? Ron DeSanctimonious and the Rhino Brigade. Why are you protecting the hospitality workers that work at Donald Trump's properties from deportation? Why?
The first 100 days of the Trump administration have been breathtaking. A lot
Well, I wouldn't recommend it if you're around him, because, phew.
like the early days of Ron DeSantis in Florida.
Rhonda who?
And what he's doing in Florida is trying to get the state to do everything they can to make sure that Trump's policies are going through, especially on illegals. There is a house with these unbelievable rhinos.
Terrible.
That in a special session, they didn't want to come back because they...
But they just made a point of it because they're worried it's going to deport their nanny and the house rapists they have cutting their hedges.
said it's not an emergency. What are you talking about?
So it's not an emergency. It's an ongoing issue. Also, why wouldn't they comply? Are there sanctuary city issues or whatever? Or is Disney putting pressure on you because some of the staff around them their paperwork might not be in order? Or is it really just all of Trump's properties? Or are they afraid that they'll look at all the Russians in Trump Tower, Miami? Inquiring minds want to, fuck it.
Ron DeSantis called for a special session because he said the president was just put in office. I want all of the tools on the table to help him.
He either has the power to do it as the president of the United States or he doesn't. And what are you going to have him do? Rewrite the Florida Constitution quickly?
Solve this problem.
It's why can't he solve it on his own, you lazy fuck?
The rhinos said no, and then they started to...
Why are you wearing a turquoise cuff? What's happening? What is this? What are you doing? But I feel like Glenn Beck is like a paper doll. He comes with like little foldy outfits.
change everything that he wanted, and then have the balls to name it the Trump Act. Really? The Trump Act? And Ron DeSantis, governor, is with us now to tell us a little bit about the Trump Act. Welcome to the program, Governor. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, a week ago today, we were preparing for a historic snowstorm in our...
Yeah, they were preparing for it. Because that's how you get some fur and you get ready for the snow. You prepare.
State record had been 4 inches. We actually hit last week 10 inches of snow in northwest Florida and Milton.
Yes, climate change is bullshit, folks. Write that down in your in your notebook. And
then you saw the beaches covered in snow. So it's kind of an interesting period for Florida. Where's the global warming when you need it, right?
Okay. Well, it's shifting the temperature of the oceans, which is moving around the weather systems. That's what's happening. It's warming up the East Coast because that's how it works.
Okay, so tell me about, because what I've seen, what's happening with Wilton Simpson is an abomination. Tell me Tell me who you're fighting and what you're fighting against and for.
Yeah, because we really have no fucking idea.
Well, you hit it on the head. They didn't want to do anything on illegal immigration. And after the election...
Gee, it's almost like most of the industries in Florida rely on undocumented immigrants to keep prices low so that right-wingers in the state can live high on the hog, and that they can basically use threats of deportation and fear to control the working people of the state. I'm just kidding. What?
I said, this is our chance. This is the number one issue the president ran on, and we need to get it right. And so there's no way President Trump can fulfill his mandate if the state and local governments and law enforcement are not actively supporting his deportation efforts. I mean, think about it. He's come out of the gate strong.
Why? Why not? I mean, again, the active support, what do you mean? On the ground? You want the taxpayers of Florida to pick up the bill for Trump's deportation plan, because you don't want him to have to go to the federal government, to the Congress, and get more money for it. So you basically want to hide that money on the backs of law enforcement inside the state, and that's what you're trying to do. Basically, it's a subsidy from the state of Florida.
But they've done about probably 700, 800 arrests on average a day. Let's just say 1,000. Well, extrapolate that out, 365,000 a year times 4. Biden let in 10 million illegals on his own. Now, I do
No, he didn't.
think the Trump administration will ramp up. I think they'll get better numbers as time goes on.
Right. Except they aren't here. The number is bullshit.
But if you just had every red state say all police departments, all sheriff's departments, all state agent, law enforcement agencies have to participate maximally in the programs that the Trump administration's offering for immigration enforcement, you would increase those numbers dramatically.
What's slowing them down in the state? You mean because the mayors have to sign off on this and they got bigger fish to fry, especially in Democratic cities in Florida? The ones that make all the money?
That is what we have to do. We've got to be ready to go. We've got to work hand in glove. Now, what you'll have in California and in Chicago, they're going to be trying to sabotage Trump's agenda. They're going to be sanctuary jurisdictions. Now, we don't allow that in Florida, but I think most states who are not sanctuary, they're just going to say, hey, it's the federal government's responsibility. Yeah, we won't sabotage it, but we're not going to be in that fight. Right. I don't think that's adequate.
Well, tough shit. We have a Customs and Border Patrol. We have ICE for a reason. If they don't have enough people, let the president go to the Congress and say, I need to hire more ICE agents and I need to hire more Customs and Border Patrol people. He doesn't get to commandeer the every standing traffic cop in every jurisdiction just because.
This is
Yeah, there are murders and thefts and robberies and shit you pretend to care about when there's a Democrat in office, but as soon as a Republican's in office, you're like, what crime? That they're investigating and people they're tracking down and fugitives they have to find and it's Florida, so serial killers. So that they've got a job to fucking do. So the idea that Trump can just roll in and commandeer them to just do roundups in fucking neighborhoods, some of which they're, by the way, in the middle of investigations in with legal immigrants and legal citizens.
Historic moment for this country. We've been talking about this issue for decades.
So? And you won by a hair's breadth. You didn't get a landslide. You're not going to get everybody on board. And you got to be able to convince people that it's worth fucking while.
Yes, Trump is absolutely right by going after the cartels and designating them foreign terrorist organizations. Obviously, we need to build the wall and fortify the border.
Yeah, I agree. The beaches in Florida are unsecure, and we need to build we basically need to put a wall condom on Florida.
But you have this massive problem of interior enforcement, and so that's what we're proposing, as well as other things that are important. Legislature didn't want to do it. I called the special session against their wishes. They said it was premature, that it could wait. But, they got blowback from their constituents. So they thought if they came in, gutted with the enforcement of doing what we need to do, and just name it the Trump Act, that somehow they would be able to get away with that.
Okay. They've got to have text for this thing, right? Oh, shit. Okay, Florida, the Trump Act. Okay, let's see. This is going to be good. The Trump Act. By the way, I would like to remind you, regular viewers and new people, and hello and welcome and share the show and all that kind of stuff. I'd like to remind you that these are Republicans arguing about other Republicans who allegedly won with a mandate. You look like Chris Cornell. Oh, that's very nice. That's very sweet. He is a lot prettier than I was, than I am. Let's see. promises Trump Act. Where's the? I need the fucking text of it, you weirdo. Oh, here it is. The Florida legislature. What is the Trump Act? Here it is. Passed a sweeping immigration bill Tuesday, setting aside $500 million in public funds to help carry out Trump's thing. In a state where roughly 1 in every 5 residents is an immigrant, the legislation would require every level of government, as well as government. Where's the fucking text? He wanted to pass. The lawmakers pushed through an 80-plus page bill titled "The Tackling and Reforming Unlawful Migration Policy," or Trump Act, through a special session when it's harder for the public to engage in the legislative process. I appreciate the attempts at what does it entail? Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, this is what does the Trump Act entail? Well, it gives it assigns everyone a nunt and makes neck queefs mandatory. Okay, hold on. Wait, let me try to blow this up. There you go. Get this out of the way. Okay, what does the Trump Act entail? Measure passed by lawmakers would create a new state immigration enforcement office with more than 140 employees under the direct. Oh, hey, they're shrinking government, guys, and getting more efficient. Newly minted chief immigration officer, probably Matt Gaetz, I'm guessing, a post to be taken by the state's commissioner of agriculture. That makes sense because, you know, he knows where people are, like the workers are, and he knows which businesses they're trying to help and which businesses they aren't. So they can selectively enforce undocumented immigrants working on, you know, orange groves and shit like that. I see. Okay, that's smart. The state commissioner would cede emergency immigration enforcement powers from the governor to the state immigration officer, so the governor doesn't have to take shit about it. Bill allocates $100 million for grants to local law enforcement agencies for training equipment reimbursement for leasing detention facilities, which they don't have. It allocates another $375 million to fund the state's cooperation with the federal government. Why? Efforts include related to a program that deputizes local law enforcement for duties typically performed by ICE agents. So this is state taxes that they are using to fund Trump's federal program. Again, this is just them shoring it up so that he doesn't have to let the American taxpayer know how much this shit is costing, especially in red states. It also sets aside $25 million to give $1,000 bonuses to local law enforcement who cooperate with the federal government. So if you sign up for the duty, you get a $1,000 bonus, which ain't dick. If you endanger your life in this situation for $1,000, spread thinly. Oh, good Lord. I'm looking California with feeling Minnesota. It's kind of true, actually. If we really don't want our school resource officers, social workers, and our teachers defining for themselves what the fullest extent of cooperation needs to be, then we need to define that. So, okay, because it's not in the bill. It would also repeal a decade-old state law allowing Florida students who are in the country without legal permission to qualify for in-state tuition at public colleges and universities, which is like a DACA leftover, which as of the 2023-2024 fiscal year benefited from about 6,500 students. In a sign of how much the state's immigration politics have changed in recent years, the tuition measure was sponsored in 2014 by the state's now Lieutenant Governor, a Republican from Miami. Oh, these rhinos. I implore you today to remember the haunting yet challenging words of our Lieutenant Governor when she said, "It's the right thing to do." Democratic Senator Darrell Rouson told his colleagues on the Senate floor. And what has changed since then? Except the attitude towards immigrants, or how openly these assholes feel about speaking about it. Hold on. Yikes! Get over here. There we go. No, not that. This. Yeah, here you go.
Obama named Obamacare the Affordable Care Act. Obviously, it wasn't affordable. Biden named his spending boondoggle the Inflation Reduction Act. Obviously, that didn't work out.
It actually did.
So they're playing this game where if they put Trump's name...
Wait a minute, Republicans did this in your state legislature. Don't throw this shit on fucking Obama and Biden or the very nature of how bills are named. Sorry, if you want, pass a law against acronyms in bills, if that's your issue. Call it the Maya Act, the make acronyms illegal again.
On a weak bill.
Why the fuck is he on a horse? What is happening? What is this? Is he picking his nose? And that's
that somehow people think it's going to be good, and it's totally inadequate. But here's the thing, Glenn. Before I became governor, Florida was very weak on illegal immigration.
Yeah, that's why Trump moved there. That's why he bought property there.
And part of it was they thought because Hispanic population here, you had to be. I proved that wrong because I was the strongest governor, and I had a record Hispanic vote in 2022. So that was wrong. But then you do have this desire for cheap, illegal alien labor in some of
Yeah, Doral, Mar-a-Lago, I don't know, Epstein's groundskeepers. They're all related.
These industries, and I think that's what these guys are trying to preserve. I don't think they want to see immigration enforcement the way you would need to fulfill President Trump's mandate. So,
Why was that? Why is that? What would that do to, I don't know, the price of frozen concentrated orange juice? God damn it, I got to watch Trading Places again.
They made it sound like initially it was a difference of opinion on timing, but understand what they're proposing, it's a difference of values. The values that we all ran on, that
between Republicans in the House or the state Senate, I guess, in Florida,
Donald Trump got elected on, that all your listeners subscribe to, those are reflected in the proposals that I did. They are not reflected in what the Florida legislative leaders are doing. And you
it's just, and what he means is they're not dicks enough.
mentioned the Commissioner of Agriculture. They're actually taking away immigration enforcement authority from the governor and putting it in the Commissioner of Agriculture. That's like the fox guarding the hen house. They don't want to enforce it. Are you kidding me? And even stripping some of the things I have now, like E-Verify, they want to put that over there. So
it's almost like these guys know that while you have designs on being president one day, which isn't going to happen, the rest of them are kind of glass ceilinged in the business community in Florida itself, and they want to grow themselves into a situation where they can leave office and retire, or leave office and continue whatever business they had or might want to have after they leave office. And to do that, they got to play nice with the biggest moneymakers in the state, one of them being the orange growers and the other whatever industries that they have there. I don't know what the fuck they grow there. Florida kale. Coconut, the sunscreen plant, the sunscreen trees, something like that. That's why.
Really, really bad product. And here's the thing. I think some of them are caught up in, we don't want the governor to get the win. You know, we're sick of him always doing all this stuff. I don't need pride of ownership.
Sorry, the Republicans in your state are sick of you winning. Yeah, that sounds believable.
Ownership, they can take 100% of the credit. I just want to get the job done. And if we're not doing what needs to be done...
again, I don't know what went further. Again, they're being complete assholes, like probably to the most extent they could without driving up. Again, Trump has two conflicting mandates. One is get all the illegals out of the country, and two is keep grocery prices low. Those trains are in a head-on collision, and some people know that. And it seems like the Senate in Florida knows this. They know that these two trains are on the same fucking track, and they are silver streaking towards each other right now.
Right now, to get ready for this. Then, there'll be some successes, don't get me wrong, but we're not going to be able to actually deliver on the mandate that the voters gave us. And here, just the final...
Why? It gives bonuses and extra money for trains. This is fucking stupid. Sorry, how can you justify paying everyone in the state of Florida with your hate rush? Am I? I don't think I am, Moon Girl. I think I'm speaking specifically about the Republicans in the Senate right now. I mean, I might joke about Florida Man on occasion, but, and again, I made the point about Democratic cities not complying, and that's probably why he's complaining. That's what he wants them to give him, like, overreach in that area, but largely so that they can benefit, the big ag down there can benefit from the cheap labor. I don't think I was shitting. Was that the feeling that everybody got? That was not my intention. To vilify the average citizenry of Florida, just Ron DeSantis and the other Republicans he is fighting with. Okay, that was not the intention, Moon Girl. Fear not.
Point I make: Republicans all run for 4 years in Florida. They all ran on
Yep.
bashing Biden's border policies, saying we needed to get tough, supporting Donald Trump's agenda in 2024. They
Yeah, but that was all bullshit, Joel.
all ran on that. Not one Republican ran and said, you know what, we just need to give it all to the Commissioner of Agriculture. You know, state and local shouldn't be required to help the federal government. They wouldn't do any of that. And now they're bragging about they're going to spend money on giving beds for illegals. I don't want to house the illegals. I want to deport the illegals.
It is remarkable to me. I mean,
Yeah, but you're keeping families together until you can. And if the priority is, again, all right, if you're doing a roundup, this is how fucking stupid these guys are. I'm not even for this, but I understand it better than they do. That's what's fucking maddening, okay? The beds are, and why they want the beds is because if you don't have a place to put people humanely, while they're waiting to be deported, and your planes are already full with the murders and the criminals and the gang members and the people who are in prisons, or the ones you catch in these specific roundups, which again, there aren't nearly as many people as they say they are, and that's what they're going to butt up against. But let's just say you've only got a few flights coming out of Florida on the regular, moving people out. They're catching a few hundred people or whatever. But if you want to round up a bunch of people, you either have to let them go, which is the catch and release part, or you've got to put them someplace. That's why they put money in the fucking bill to like expand like jails and prisons and other places to hold these people until they can be deported. How the fuck? This is your awful, stupid fucking plan. Why do I understand the necessity of this particular step more than you do? Like, this flabbergasted horse shit is... I'm almost more stunned by how stupid both these guys are.
First of all, Wilton Simpson, he wants to be governor. When you're not governor, he's going to run in the next cycle. He's compromised. He is the guy who supported giving in-state tuition to illegal aliens. He gave the...
So did everybody in the fucking state when it happened, dummy.
Cut out for E-Verify, so agriculture didn't have to worry about it. Refused to provide law enforcement resources during the original border crisis. This guy is...
Sorry, the original border crisis? What do you mean the original border crisis?
Is not a helper when it comes to doing the...
Not a helper. And that's important to Republicans, being a helper.
The things that Americans have just said they want to be done. Who is also... I mean, I'm just looking up... you've got the Senate President, Ben Albritton, House Speaker Daniel Perez. They seem to be in the same boat as Wilton Simpson. Who needs the pressure?
Well, like, who can I sick my idiots on who don't live in the state but will call them pretending that they do?
Look, I think that just all the legislators, they just need to hear from their constituents. And
no, I just think everybody should call the governor and go, why haven't you solved this yet? Attack him with the stroke of the pen fallacy. Weaponize it.
They're getting upset, saying that somehow like they're getting threatened because some of their constituents are telling them that this is not right. But that they need to be held accountable for their actions. And if what...
Hang on. Held accountable and threatened are not the same fucking thing, dumbass. Now, again, why am I helping? These are other Republicans.
They did. If what they're doing is consistent with what they told the voters they were doing, they're not going to have any problem, right?
Yep.
But I'll tell you, Glenn, I've been doing this now for 6 years. I've never seen our base react more negatively on an issue than what the legislature is trying to pull right now. It is like...
Yeah, and they did it anyways. You know why? Because they're listening to the phone calls they're getting, and they understand that the fucking wackos that are calling them don't understand that if they run all of the undocumented immigrants off the farms in Florida, every orange in the fucking state will rot, and the GDP of the state will take a 6% hit in 6 months. Summer's coming, you dumb motherfucker. Seriously. Where are you gonna who's gonna man the restaurants during the summer? Good Lord.
99-1 in terms of opposition. So
yeah, it's almost like they're thinking it through, and they're thinking past this moment of panic, and they're going, hey, I have to get reelected, and if I agree to this, even if people seem to like it right now, I know it's going to be bad.
I think sunlight's the best disinfectant.
Yep.
People just have to make their voice heard.
Have you ever thought of saying that kind of in a skin cancer ward? That'd be a great thing. That'd be hilarious. Why don't you tattoo that on your forehead and walk through a place where people have carcinoma, melanoma, some kind of a noma. I don't know.
But we shouldn't let this slip through our fingertips. I think some of it is, some inside baseball up there. Wilton Simpson was the Senate president. A lot of the stuff, tough immigration policies we did 2 years ago, I wasn't able to get through when he was Senate president because he did block it, and he did support things like driver's licenses for illegals when he was in the Florida Senate. But he really exercises a lot of influence over the Florida Senate. So the fact that he was put into that bill.
Influence?
I don't think that was an accident. I think that was definitely something that they were trying to do. And does it even pass the laugh test?
No.
Yes, it does. You're both hilariously out of touch with what your constituents actually want. Look, okay. Fuck these guys. We're not going to learn anything from this gibberish beyond what we already have. But I'd like to be abundantly clear. When there's something in entertainment where they've always said for the longest time, give the audience what they want. And I have argued for quite some time, at least since the TV show Moonlighting, also X-Files, also a lot of other things, that you give the audience what they want, not what they think they want. Because an audience, if you ask them about what they want when they watch the X-Files, what they want is Sculler and like Mulder and Scully to get together, right? Or they want, I'm fucking up the names too because Maddie and what's the name on Moonlighting. Point being is that they want them to get together. They think, I want them to kiss. I want them to get together. And then that happens, and Dave and Maddie, thank you. That Mulder and Scully, so the point is, they think they want them to get together. And then when it happens, show's over. Nobody watches after that. Because they don't want anything else, right? What they wanted was not the kiss. What they watched for, what kept them coming back, was the tension of whether it would. So what the audience really came for was the tension, the sexual tension, the draw of the whole thing, the chemistry. Will it happen? Can it happen? Right? That's really what brought the audience. That's what they wanted. They showed up every week with that feeling, and it went through the Scully and Muldoon. That's there you go. Sam and Diane. There you go. Another great example on Cheers. That once they do it, tension's gone. That's not what you wanted. You didn't want it to be over. You wanted that feeling. You wanted that tension. You wanted and the long-suffering nature of it, right? And a lot of times what they would do is they give you what you want and the show's over, because it's not that you're not going to tune in next week because the tension's gone. And I showed up for the tension. Now it's a real relationship. Now I don't know if it's going to work or not or whatever. Yeah, it's a way of jumping the shark. But that tease is so, meaningful. Now, in a lot of these situations, legislatures versus the president or somebody who's got, senators in the federal government have a 6-year term, and the president only has 4. So these guys have to get elected after or during the next president's cycle. So if they're elected at the beginning of a president's cycle, he can't do anything about their job until, and if he can't get reelected, he can't chip away at their power even in the next 2 years. But they've got to get reelected in the middle of the next, whatever the president, whether it's a single term or 2 terms, in the middle of the next term, right? And so they've got to think about that, both in their fundraising, but also in what do their constituents want on a 6-year arc as opposed to a 4-year arc, or in the case of the House, a 2-year arc, which is why the House is full of fucking panic all the time, because they're always in re-election mode. I mean, I personally think that House members should get 4 years and the president should get 6, the same as a senator. I can think of some people that I would not want in office for 6 years, but maybe people would think a little longer about it if they didn't think of it as 2/3 the length of a Senate term. But that's these people realize they're getting phone calls from these people who are freaking out right now because Trump's on a high and they're pushing this 100 days and they want to help him bank some wins so that people don't realize how full of shit he is. And these people need to get reelected. They need their communities to actually flourish, and this will gut them because he doesn't give a fuck. He's worried about his nationwide power, and there are certain states where this will fuck them worse than others. Agricultural states especially know this. And I gotta say, I think a lot of us are in this position where we're like, you know what? I'm not rooting for anybody, and I don't want to tell people I told you so, but maybe that's what it's going to take this time around. And so that's why, again, I've said that, like, some Democrats who are laying off the gas pedal or the resistance pedal, as it were, in the middle of it, is so that this asshole can get out over his skis. So these people can go, well, it would have worked. It was awesome. He had a great plan, but you guys fucked it up. Right? We know this is going to fail, and we know a Democrat's going to clean up after this shit again. Right? And I feel like I want to see this play out. I want to, to some degree. What's he doing with Guantanamo? He's sending some of the violent predators that they can't repatriate to there, so they're because there's an immigrant holding facility in Guantanamo that we've had for a long time. It's not that uncommon. Again, we often focus on Guantanamo for the permanent residents there, but there are people who are there that, for a myriad of reasons, they temporarily go through there if they're being, extradited. They're international terrorists. They're being sought by Interpol or whatever. That's where we put them. Some of them can be put at Rikers. Some of them can be put at federal detention centers, but some of them are so dangerous they put them down at Guantanamo. That's it. And it's not that new. So, yeah, it's been 9 days. And again, what's he done? He signed a bunch of executive orders that are just like, I direct the government to create a commission to look into vaccines or whatever. Okay, fine. Waste the taxpayers' money, try to do that on the cheap, come back with a report and go, actually, it's fine. It's going to be the fucking drone thing I showed you over and over again. Oh yeah, we looked at it, maggots. You gave us a mandate, and we went in there and we looked, and what did we find? We found out that the Biden administration was telling you the truth. I don't think they voted on RFK today, did they? They just had the hearing. Because I think they want another one. But anyways, yes, it's the golden age now. It absolutely is. I can feel it. Okay, so. There's going to be a confluence of assholes in this situation. Jimmy Dore, Dr. Phil grills detained immigrant. So this is Jimmy's right-wing, Trump suck, run amok, I suppose. For decades, Dr. Phil has been a highly recognizable public figure from his popular television show, and he even got recognized by a suspected sexual predator being arrested in Chicago. Suspected, okay. When America's favorite TV doctor, really? Fuck you, Dr. Oz, I guess, at some point, joined in a raid with Immigration Customs Enforcement. That's Jimmy Dore's description of this shit.
Come see us live on tour.
No.
Syracuse.
Nope.
For a link for tickets. So what kind of people are they arresting?
Also, by the way, I kind of enjoy these clips sometimes just by how miserable Kurt looks.
In Chicago. So
End wokeness. So Jimmy is now quoting or citing X accounts called End Wokeness because he's so far left he's right. That's the idea.
here's a guy, a child rapist from Thailand.
Personally rounds up a child rapist from Thailand in Chicago. Borders are our omen. Okay.
Chicago.
This is a real reversal, isn't it? Usually they're picking up the European.
Wow, that guy's the child rapist voice sounds a lot like Kurt.
Yeah.
Sex tourist out of Thailand.
What's your name?
Seda.
Seda what? You have a personal name.
Sam.
Seda Sam?
Yes.
Where are you from?
Where I was born or where I'm from?
Where are you born?
Thailand.
You've been deported before from the United States?
Look at Jimmy like, huh? Guy from Thailand in America. Huh? I honest to God, can you just wait until there's an actual point made?
States?
No.
Never been deported?
I've been in the system before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, no, he's never been deported, but he's been in the system before. And there's Dr. Phil. Why is Dr. Phil there? Are they sending him to boot camp?
Why is that a joke? What do you mean boot camp? He's doing a ride along because this is posturing bullshit.
You're going to start respecting your mother. I'm sending you one of those weird boot camps where they probably molest kids. He's probably got to make up for that boot camp he sent all them kids to.
I mean, he definitely needs a new agent. When your agent says you can't get you a spot on The View anymore.
Oh, he's reading jokes on the page again. We just get to the point. I don't even know if you're for it or against it.
But he has a booking available for arresting pedophiles from Thailand. Come on.
I mean, I will say, I would rather watch the thing that he's booked on than The View.
Me too. Me too.
Good job.
Sorry, Kurt and Jimmy Dore would like you to know they would rather watch child rape than The View. Because punchline, and it's probably true.
By his agent, but I'm...
Yeah.
What have you been charged with?
Charged with?
Before?
I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna talk to my lawyer.
Yeah.
Smart.
Are you a citizen?
My mom says it.
Your mother's a citizen?
Yes.
But you're not?
Nope.
But you've never been deported before?
You Dr. Phil. Look, Dr. Phil.
Yeah? How do you know me?
No, I seen.
That looks like the house I grew up in, by the way. And that looks like the tree in front of my house. That can't be my house, could it?
Dude, if Dr. Phil... Wait a minute.
He goes, how do you know me? What do you mean? You're Dr. Phil. Everybody knows Dr. Phil. You've been on TV for 30 years.
Is there a possibility that Dr. Phil just showed up with this Thai child molester in front of your boyhood house? Is that a possibility?
Oh, you know.
I don't know. What are the odds Jimmy's house has been passed down from child molester to child molester?
On TV.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is an example of sanctuary cities, right? We got an illegal alien convicted of sex crimes involving children. And he's walking the streets of Chicago. Again, the downfall, the problem with the sanctuary city, that people like us walking the street rather than local law enforcement working with federal agents. This is what we're dealing with. Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
So what Holman is saying...
Yeah, thank you, Jimmy. Translate what Holman said for us, because a lot of us want you to sort of soften it up for us.
Is that you got local, because it's a sanctuary city, the local police authorities aren't allowed to work with the federal ICE or whatever.
Yeah, that's how it works. Yeah, they're not allowed to work with the ICE or the federal whatever. Yeah, that's how it's written into law. It couldn't possibly be that they don't automatically check the status of people and they don't automatically turn people over that aren't guilty of violent crimes, and that this guy's been in the system before, but they didn't know at the time that he'd been convicted in his own country of this act or whatever it was, or that he's out on bail on it or something, which is another issue with Chicago.
They're not allowed to work with the Border Patrol, anybody, to help deport illegal aliens.
Yeah, they are. There's a limitation on what they will do. And also, this is happening in Chicago. So obviously you can.
And consequently, they got these criminals. And we did.
I would just like to say, Anna Kasparian looks like shit.
Showed you in another
Did we
clip.
all see Scarface?
From Boston. We saw you from Boston that they arrested this guy on some sex trafficking or some kind of sex charge, and they had to let him go the next day because it's a sanctuary city. What were you saying about Star?
No. Yeah, everybody gets due process. What they arrested him for and what they have evidence to prove and how long they can hold him is the issue. That would be true of people whether they're legal or illegal in that regard. The question is did they released him on his own recognizance, or he had somebody or he put up a bond, or whether he was wearing an ankle bracelet or any of that kind of shit. Like, those details actually matter in this situation.
It's all the same as a drug.
Here's what I would argue. Why don't you just back the fuck up and just go, the United States, pretty much across the board, is too easy on sexual predators. How about that? As far as like a 72-hour hold or like evidentiary rules for a hold can be, slightly lessened if there's a plausible charge against someone, whether a minor is involved or direct violence or proof, or a victim comes forward and, or extraordinary bail money so that it's basically your whole fucking life gets taken away if you don't show up, and when you're convicted, you treat it like you tried to rob the Fed. One of the things that I keep coming back to is fucking, you want to talk about Chicago, but John Wayne Gacy was convicted of molesting a 15-year-old boy, and before he killed people. And he was given, I want to say, 8 to 15 years. And he served like 18 months. They liked him so much, they let him go, and then they expunged it from his record. And then he went on to murder people. If they'd have just kept him in jail, all those lives would have been saved. If he'd have just done the time he got.
Drug dealer and a people dealer, that's all the same. It's so corrupt, the mafia that runs it, which is real big and real scary, that's why that's allowed. In Scarface, they had bought Miami, remember? He came over, they flooded Miami with illegal immigrants, right?
Yeah.
Okay, people have been talking about this for a while because of the opening scene. I forget, somebody said it in Congress, brought it up in one of the hearings. And so Kurt has seen this. But in the opening of Scarface, not Capone, the movie Scarface with Al Pacino, there's an opening graphic that talks about what Castro was doing. And this is part of the narrative that Trump has been pushing. Let's see. Opening of Scarface, facts about Castro. So this has been part of the narrative that they've been selling, so you know what it says. Okay, opening... Mario Boatlift, which was opened by Fidel Castro. The scene that I love is the opening of Scarface, where he goes, I want to see that. I can't play it. Opening. It's kind of footage of real life Mario Boatlift. The Mario Boatlift allowed Cubans to join their relatives in the United States, but within 72 hours, 3,000 U.S. boats were headed for Cuba, giving real-world credibility to the film's portrayal of power and corruption. So let me see if I can bring this up real quick. Yeah. So what he's talking about is this: a scene that I love opening. Okay. And I think it's this. I'm just going to mute it, but. If I play the opening part of it, I'm gonna get busted. In May 1980, Fidel Castro. Hold on, wait. In May 1980, Fidel Castro opened the harbor at Mariel, Cuba, and go away. With the apparent intention of letting some of his people join their relatives in the United States. It soon became evident that Castro was forcing the boat owners to carry back with them not only their relatives of the 125,000 refugees that landed in Florida. They're unwilling to adapt to the spirit of the revolution. So, sorry, hold on, back up. There was there's another line. An estimated 25,000 had criminal records. So they are unwilling to adapt to the spirit of the revolution. This is him speaking. We don't want them. We don't want them. We don't need them. So this whole idea that Trump uses about they're sending their criminals, they're bringing crime, they're not sending their best, all this stuff. It all comes from this kind of an idea. There is a history of this, and Russia uses immigration as a weapon all around the world. And there's an element of this. The problem is that because of it, it not only helps Castro at the time and the Russians and whoever to divide the country and do all this kind of stuff, but it allows opponents of immigration to vilify families and people who are just coming here to work or people seeking asylum. Okay. Yeah. So that's what they're talking about. These dickheads. So yeah.
aerial boat lift that Jimmy well open arms, and they welcomed in all the dregs of Cuban prisons, and then
all the dregs of Cuban prisons.
There was an insane drug boom, every kind of trafficking boom, and it built the city. So somebody wants that way, and they're telling, we've had the resources to take care of this. How do we have MS-13 here and El Salvador doesn't? El Salvador has...
Because we have higher rules of incarceration and a better legal system, and it's an American gang that started here.
No MS-13 problem, but we do? How's that possible?
First of all, they do, and hold on one second, chat room. Let me show you something real quick. MS-13. Mara Salvatrucha is an international criminal. Yeah, here you go. That's this guy. Founding location, Pico Union, Los Angeles, California, United States, in the 1980s to present. Their territory includes places in the United States, but Canada, Spain, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, and Mexico. There's 30 to 50,000 of them globally. There's 8 to 10,000 in the United States, where it originated. It is an American group that started that way, and then they moved down south. So, like, again, I don't know if Kurt's stupid or just manipulative. I'm gonna go with dumb, probably. But that's just so you know. That's one of the reasons. And the other thing is that I think he said El Salvador. Right?
Yeah, we've had the resources to take care of this. How do we have MS-13 here and El Salvador doesn't?
Okay, I'll tell you why. El Salvador does, but El Salvador just used. They don't have posse comitatus. Gang roundups. We saw this over the last little bit. So let's see. San Salvador, as a human rights group on Monday, criticized the massive arrest of suspected gang members in El Salvador. The roundups began in late March. This is a while back. Let's see. Yeah, they do have them, but they all have them in a box. This is what their prison looks like. At one point, these folks were running the building that was the prison, and then they had to move them to another one and cut off all telecommunications to the area, and they couldn't even have like a cell tower near the facility. Like they had like 3 phone lines for emergency use only. Because for a while, because these guys, that's why they make them like basically wear pajamas and underwear everywhere, because these guys can hide a phone anywhere. This is the Terrorism Confinement Center, the CECOT mega prison. They started doing these roundups. That's why they don't have this problem. And they don't have trials for them. They just pull them off the street. Let's see, 75 kilometers. It's 47 miles southeast of the capital of San Salvador. It is the centerpiece of Bukele's war on street gangs. 15,000 members of MS-13 and rival Barrio 18 gangs are being held at the nearly 2-year-old facility, which can hold up to 40,000 people. They were rounded up under a state government state of emergency imposed by Bukele after a surge in gang violence in 2022. Some are serving sentences of over 200 years. The crackdown has been praised by most Salvadorans. And again, there's an element of, look, I get that you might be tried for something you weren't directly guilty of, but if you have the gang tattoos, if you have a liar's tattoo, like you have, it's kind of like if you have a teardrop, that means you killed somebody. If you have a fake teardrop, they'll kill you, right? Because you didn't really earn it, and you're a poser. It's like if you're wearing gang colors and the Hell's Angels, if you're wearing colors, if you didn't earn them or get them the right way by being a member of the gang, they'll kick your ass or kill you. Same thing. So to some degree, this is all the evidence they need to lock you up, because you have your crimes tattooed on your body, right? Imagine the lice and bed bugs. No shit. They watched 1,000 prison officers, 600 soldiers, 250 riot police guard the facility. And the Barrio guys and the MS-13 are mortal enemies. The Barrio 18. Speaking in small room next cells, watched by a group of police officers. Psycho, 41-year-old nicknamed Psycho, told AFP he regretted his violence past. We are in a maximum security prison where we know there is no way out. He's serving a 100-year sentence for 2 murders. Lifted his shirt to show AFP the initials MS for Mara Salvatrucha, or MS-13. Tattooed on his torso. He's born in El Salvador, but spent the part of his childhood in the United States, where he joined a gang at about age 12. So this dude they're interviewing in El Salvador was like lived in the U.S. and joined MS-13 here. Kurt, you tit. Fucking hell. By the way, real quick, you know that phrase, a little learning is a dangerous thing? Yeah, we're trapped in a world of a little learning. That's the problem with like do your own research. Because if you just do enough research to like verify what you already believe, and you stop at looking, you stop at looking at anything that might go against your preconceived notions or whatever, give you, anything that violates your confirmation bias. Well, Dunning-Kruger is the sales pitch that these motherfuckers do. But the essence of it is a little knowledge, a little learning is a dangerous thing, because you need a lot of learning to be learned. And these motherfuckers stop just shy of like almost knowing something. Flat Earthers are a great example, water goddess, of that. Absolutely.
Salvador has no MS-13 problem, but we do? How's that possible?
Because we have a legal system that requires you to more than just tattoos to lock people up, stupid.
El Salvador got rid of their gang problem.
How'd they get rid of it? Jimmy, tell us the freedom-loving, socialist, Marxist, millionaire solution that they came up with that you side with. The idea of like the rounding up of these folks and the extrajudicial imprisoning of them and finding them guilty while they're already in jail serving the sentence. No time served, no nothing. And literally you're being convicted on your tattoos. Now, again, most of these guys probably are guilty of a lot worse. That's not the issue. But that's why, in this country, we don't have as many people like that locked up. Fuck, this guy's dumb.
Because they're not corrupt. And I saw that guy Bukele talk about it, and he was advised, well, because our economy is so dependent on crime, you got to ease off of it, because it'll crash the economy. And he goes, you know what, we'll take the GDP hit, it's fine. And you know what happened, he said? They went up 3 points in GDP.
Yeah.
That's what he said. So what I mean, really, so what, just so you know, in case you're confused here, Jimmy and Kurt are arguing for mass incarceration for the economic benefit and quick trial. I mean, they're basically Trumpers at this point. This is just stupid. I would rather have our system and all of its limits than just have a situation where a state or the federal government can just round people up by how they look. You understand why, our country's, and again, it blossomed there because of another problem that they have, one that we don't have. Just like a failed economic structure where a gang can move in and provide like running water in areas of the country. That doesn't exist in the United States, stupid. That's why they could grow that big there. That's why the response had to be militaristic. Like, and I don't know where Kurt and Jimmy seem to think that that Miami will die without crime at this point. Like Miami's kept afloat financially. Is that the argument now that these like Cubano coke dealers built the city and therefore what the fuck?
But they were prepared to take the hit. That's how we are El Salvador before Bukele corrupt at the very least.
Yeah.
So
no, we aren't. Hold on. Think about that listen to that statement. For real. Listen to this shit. We are El Salvador before Bukele corrupt. We have that level of corruption because we don't round up people, known gang members or gang affiliates and stuff, and throw them in jail based on their tattoos in mass and house them in giant human warehouses. And that means we're corrupt. It doesn't mean we're too civilized for the circumstance we're in. It doesn't mean we're too slow moving. It doesn't mean that there's too much wiggle room or these guys have too, powerful lawyers that help them get out of shit, right? Fuck off. And by the way, if it's that awesome, why aren't they doing their show from El Salvador?
That's how we are El Salvador before Bukele corrupt at the very least.
Yeah.
So they're
also, Jimmy's like, yes. What? Based on what? You think Los Angeles, where he lives, where both of these fuckers live, is as corrupt as El Salvador before they did the gang sweeps? On the same, like, Jesus Christ. I mean, like, people might slip $100 to a building, inspector so that they can put a fucking shed on their property. But I mean, there's not underground fucking gun running happening in Portland.
All I'm waiting to see is, okay, I like this guy, this ICE guy, because he wants to do his job, and he knows all the horrors that are being allowed that these imbecile actors pretend they don't know about. I want to see if they come out with the whole truth or they try to do like...
Okay, at a certain point, I think they're both just trying to fuck Anna Kasparian. I think that's all this is. This is like the Anna Kasparian mating call. They're like, hey, maybe I'll get a shot if I saddle up next to her at the bar and, hey, baby, I like Tom Homan. I mean, I realize the Biden administration was ejecting these people too, and that it's a constant gardening issue or whatever, but you and I can both pretend. Hey, let's cut the shit. You want to go upstairs and go, with me?
Never tell us the whole truth, because the whole truth's real bad. It's real bad.
Is it?
Not really.
Not really?
He said...
I've never been deported.
Also, if the whole truth, nobody will tell you the truth or the whole truth and the whole truth is real bad or whatever, why the fuck wasn't Jimmy on this for years? If this has been a problem like they both say it is, why is it just now that Trump is doing this that they're just fucking mask-offing about this shit? Or is it just that they were selling bullshit like faux-aggressive horse shit to their audience for a long time, and now that Trump's, like there was a trend towards Trump, this asshole just wants to make hay while the sun shines? Just that's what side of the bread his butter is on.
What was his question? What was it? Let me see what his question was.
I'm sure it'll cut him right to the quick. I'm sure it's genius, and nobody thought to. I mean, only Dr. Phil can answer. Can ask great questions like that.
Yeah. You've been charged with sex crimes with children?
Not really.
Not really. Not really.
Not really.
Not
Kinda,
really.
Maybe.
Not
I'm in
really.
the pervert exchange program from Thailand. There's a guy with his pants pulled up too high who's from America.
Also, by the way, where is the idea that this guy in Chicago? By the way, he's from Thailand. We're not talking about a southern border issue.
In my place, and I'm staying here with a family.
You ever been charged with sex crimes with a child? Not really. What?
Not really?
I'm not allowed to.
I've never been deported.
Well,
Huh. Let's take them in process and lock them up.
got it, sir.
Dr. Phil's Merit TV. Fuck you, Merit TV. This is part of the meritocracy, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, in 2014, he sexually harassed Anna Kasparian. Did he grab her too? Was that part of the issue? I mean, they're on the same side now, so she'll probably bury the hatchet like fucking Megyn Kelly and Fox News. They all the people that looked the other way while she was being sexually harassed at Fox News, she's now best buddies because they're all on Team Trump.
So, Tom Homan says ICE saves children today and goes scorched earth on Governor Pritzker. The governor, well, here, let's listen to what he says.
You know who
Yeah, we don't have to. You don't need to tell us. Reading.
Pritzker is, right?
Yeah, Governor
His
Pritzker.
family made their fortune.
They made Hyatt hotels.
Oh, they also stole Japanese property during the internment concentration camps.
Oh, no kidding.
They took their shit. That's where their big bulk of their money came from. They're also the one of the main driving forces behind gender affirming care for kids. Isn't that weird that these people that are into that are also into having kids brought in undocumented?
Boy, like Kurt has just gone straight QAnon now. Awesome.
Yeah, the Pritzkers, they suck.
So here's what they still.
Yeah, just by people's names. The Metzgers, fuck them.
Pritzker's the governor.
I know a guy. I went to high school with a guy named Metzger. He was okay. I don't think they're related.
Of Illinois, he's that. He's the guy who makes Chris Christie look like he's in shape.
That's a fat joke, I think.
And
I mean, it's about being fat. I just think the qualifications for it being a joke are in question.
And he's the one who came out during the Democratic convention and said, "I'm a real billionaire," and everybody cheered. The party of the workers cheered out a billionaire. Here it is.
Sorry, guy who has $1 million house. Sorry, multi-million-dollar house in the Hollywood Hills says, "What about the workers?"
Let's watch this.
Wonder where they go, who picks them up. This is who picks them up. This is who lures them out on the internet.
Yeah, they do it all the time. They didn't just start doing it. They didn't invent the job.
And they disappear, or they get raped, and their lives change forever. And he shouldn't even be here, but he's doing this. But they don't raise their hand and say, hey, there's somebody that doesn't even have the right to be here that's preying upon our children, and they don't tell you about it.
Exactly. And this Governor Pritzker, and the mayor, they want to vilify the men and women of ICE. ICE save children.
Boy, the sound quality on Merit TV is fantastic.
ICE save children today. And it makes me...
ICE saves children all the time, asshole.
I think Governor Pritzker the other day went on the internet, social media, saying ICE was attacking our elementary school. He's scaring children. He's scaring the neighborhood, putting fear in the community. We're doing the exact opposite.
Jesus Christ, both of these mushmouths. For fuck's sake, just say it.
We're saving children. Every sexual predator we arrest means more safe children. So, God bless.
Right, which is why Trump shouldn't be in office and Matt Gaetz should be in jail. Yeah, that's, I mean, obviously, look, I'm not against picking up sexual predators of any type, actually. Throw them all in fucking jail. I think rape should be, a felony, like, even at its outside. Just saying, And like a serial rapist might want to start thinking about that, especially when it involves a child, as a capital crime. I'm not for capital punishment, but in terms of what the standard is versus, how long you stay in jail or whether you can get parole. I'm just saying that. But as long as you guys are Dr. Phil's gonna have Matt Gaetz on at some point and shake his hand. So I don't want to hear it.
Men with ICE, as you've seen today, we're not sweeping neighborhoods. This is a target enforcement operation. We spend a lot of time investigating these people. We know exactly who we're looking for.
Right. Yeah, that's why it's not big roundups. That's why Trump's mad.
So it's a target enforcement operation. It's the right thing to do.
Well, let's talk about how methodical this was, because you guys had this monster on the list, and they've been sitting on this guy for 2 or 3 days to try to get where he was and his pattern, and you were actually able to ping his cell phone and get him on the move so he could be picked up on the street rather.
Yeah, normal law enforcement, big fucking whoop. Yeah, we get it. Like, you didn't get these aren't new powers. This didn't happen because Trump became president. And all we're going to do is sit here and watch Jimmy watch Dr. Phil and get a half chub?
If he got to his dwelling, wherever that is, and got behind a closed door, then he could have sat there and you didn't have the right to go in and get him if he sits behind that door, right?
Not without a criminal arrest warrant, but that's exactly the point. He could have been arrested at a county jail, in the safety and security of county jail, by one officer.
Right.
But we spent hundreds of hours to investigate him, try to find out where he is, and we did find him. It takes a whole team for officer safety to arrest him. Right. It's not efficient. We could arrest many more criminals if you let us in the jail. It's a lot harder to find these guys out in the public. These guys don't want to be found. They're in the wind. It takes a lot of investigative work to find them. Let us in the jail. Don't let them hit the street.
Right. This, by the way, this is what I was talking about earlier, is that the sanctuary cities have an issue about when they arrest somebody, they either don't ask their citizenship status, or if they're aware of it, they don't automatically give them to Homeland Security. And part of the reason is, and this might be shocking, is that the southern border is and will continue to be porous forever. And people who fly into the country or flying in under a fake name like the dude from Thailand probably didn't cross the southern border in the first place anyways. And what happens is if you take somebody and we throw them in jail, they go to jail, they get a lawyer, they get to go through the process, and if they're found guilty, they're put in fucking jail. And then they kept there. They go to prison even. If you take them out and you just release them, they could come back, kill a witness, come back, like they could arrange for somebody to be killed. Like there's a big problem with just letting fucking people go back into their country, especially if they're Mexican, because we have a border with them. That's the issue. Or if, Canada allows travel back and forth to their country without a visa, for example. And then, they have other ways of getting around, and they come to Canada, the Canadian border is as porous as it is. That's what they're talking about. This is nothing new.
It saves officers time. It's safer for the community. It's safer for the alien. It's safer for the officer.
Until that person comes back.
But spending hundreds of hours of investigation to find this guy when we could have got him in 5 minutes at the Cook County Jail.
And then you would have taken him, put him on a plane, dropped him, and given him a free fucking ride home to his country of origin, where he could continue to attack people there or come back here and do it through other means.
It seems crazy. I'm sorry, it seems crazy. You got a guy in jail. He's already a bad enough actor. You had to arrest him. He's already a big enough criminal that the local police had to arrest him. And then they release him instead of giving him to ICE?
Okay, first of all, what was he arrested for? Was he arrested for being a sexual predator, or he'd been arrested before, and that was part of the issue? Or it was like he was close in age range when this initially happened, and he's got that on his record because he's a sex offender, he's on the registry, and there's a difference between, the extremity of it, or somebody, the Romeo and Juliet laws would have handled, or something like that. There's a lot of details to this. I'm not excusing if that guy was a predator, he should be in jail. But I'm not going to just assume, by the way these assholes are talking, that we know all the details about this legal case, or when it fucking happened, or what the details were.
And then they got to...
Or if he was even, by the way, I would just like the receipts. I would like to know what we're actually dealing with. And so it would be nice if we were like, did he get arrested for shoplifting? And that's why he's out, because shoplifting is on a different category than being a sexual predator, and that he'd already served his time. We have rules about that in this country, which is why we don't have giant barns full of MS-13, although we'll see what Trump wants to do.
And then ICE has to do an investigation, spend all those man hours, go to a house.
Oh, no, they have to go to a house? He didn't understand what he was saying. He's like... Dr. Phil was saying you can't go into the house because he's not effective. You're not sure he's in there. The house is owned by a resident or owned by a citizen, so you can't violate a citizen's property rights if you don't know for sure the person is in there. You could say, well, his phone was in there, and okay, but that doesn't give you the right to kick in my door because you can't prove that he's here. So you got to sit on the fucking house for 2 days, which is a violation of Fourth Amendment rules. That's why we have these rules for a reason. And there are areas where, if we could just break these rules, we could put away some of these motherfuckers. We could get rid of some of the worst. Agreed. But we would also give people the power to put people away who didn't do anything, which is more important than the brevity of this kind of shit. Thanks, Ken. I appreciate it.
It seems crazy.
What's the argument for that, though? What's the argument for that?
Sanctuary city, baby.
You see AOC talking to Jon Stewart, and Jon Stewart even knows, why would you just keep a known sex offender in here and not hand him over? She's like, well, I don't know all the case. She has no response.
Yeah.
Because
that is a response. Because you might say, I think the answer is, in that case, I wouldn't. But we don't want to have a situation where local police in different places are doing roundups of people, whole family units, under the guise of gathering up, these criminal aliens that they allege exist in the place without due process. and one of the big reasons is because you have asylum seekers here, people with temporary protected status, you have people that are covered by DED, and if you rescind that all of a sudden and you don't give them warning, they have no legal due process in this. That's why.
You're supposed to not know that's a problem, okay? Which is insane. That's absolutely batshit. But
also, can I say also that we're taking for granted that what she said and how she said it comes out like this. Like, you know what I mean? That he was accurately repeating what she said, which there's no fucking whatever.
people are mad that they're going to stop. RFK wants to take the poison out of your kids' poison cereal.
I know, but I know. So
sorry, people are mad because RFK wants to take the poison out of your kids' poison cereal. The FDA under Biden issued that rule, dum-dum.
Now that they're doing raids, so now...
Yeah, so now you're excited. Yep.
Now that Trump is president, and they're actually... It seems to me that they are... The majority of it, they're targeting people who are known criminals.
Yeah, that's what it seems like to you. Why? Because you're watching Dr. Phil clips and that's all you're seeing?
And they're not sweeping neighborhoods.
They are sweeping neighborhoods.
And what they should do is that the local police should keep these people in prison who are known sex offenders, who are known criminals, and are also undocumented, aka illegal, here illegally, and then hand them over to the Border Patrol or hand them over to the Immigration Service. But they're not doing that because they're a sanctuary city. They just release them.
No, they don't.
We've showed you. Hang on. We've showed you video after. I've just showed you video after video of them being released. What do you want to say?
These are the cities that set up snitch hotlines for COVID lockdown violations.
That's right.
They're all over it.
Basically, what's the difference here between this and like Bannon's show at this point? Anything?
Invasive, etc.
Yeah.
All over it for that. But for this, well, we don't know. We don't even know who's in a.
Yeah, but the whole like the snitch hotline thing was no one was going to get thrown in jail for that, so it was just as a reminder, right? People would show up and go, "Hey, whatever." And even then. Like, what was the extent of that shit at the height of when people were fucking dying in droves?
In jail, and we don't want to know.
And what they're also doing is scaring the hell out of everybody, saying ICE is coming to your school when they're not.
Yeah, the Secret Service went to that school, just so you know.
And ICE is doing sweeps of neighborhoods. They're not.
Yeah, they are.
Just like I predicted, they're targeting criminals.
Oh, is that Sorry, that's the end of it. That just like you predicted. All right, well, I guess it'll stop right there. You know, they're going after these the bad guys, and they're going to leave the DACA kids and the people who have asylum claims and all those people alone. And Jimmy Dore will be there to swoop in like the caring dude. He's always with the most consistent values, and he loves. Tom Homan and what he's doing and the Trump organization, except when it comes to the situation where we told you so. Trump calls for ethnic cleansing of Gaza. Yeah, asshole, that's what we told you.
Come see us live on jimmydore.com in Palestine. As I predicted,
oh, fuck this.
Trump stopped this genocide in Palestine. And I said, but there's probably going to be a couple of things he does that we hate that go along with that.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Also, there was no genocide. There just wasn't. There wasn't. You could say that there was overreach and there were too many civilians killed. I'd be with you. Absolutely. But when you have 2.4 million people in there and 44,000 people die, even at the outside number, not a genocide. War crimes, you could say that. You could say it's atrocious, not genocide. Because if it is, it's like the worst attempt at genocide in the world. The population of Palestine has gone up in the last decade. So simmer. Again, you could call something out as being wrong without, and this might be a good example of the Nazi reflex. I would argue that Trump is more of a Bundy type or a Dahmer type than a Hitler type, because it's more personal to him, and he can't think past the end of his own fucking nose, right? Whereas Hitler, you know, would delegate as awful and insisted upon it and had a strategy about it, wrote his own fucking book, right? Like they're different human beings. You know, the biggest difference between Trump and most other authoritarians is they had to earn it. So,
and for Trump stopping the literal slaughter of those people.
No, he didn't stop it. He just gave them 2,000. He gave them bunker buster bombs. He repealed all the limitations Biden put on the weapons.
What I said that I go, he's probably going to try to move some of them to another.
Yeah, just probably move some of them.
The country, and he's probably going to give the West Bank to Israel, or one of those things, or both those things. And it turns out he's probably going to do both those things. So here he is.
Right. What do you mean probably? This, by the way, this isn't your prediction. This is what he fucking said.
He's talking about how Gaza is completely wiped out, which it is. So the plan always was. The plan always. Well, let's listen to Trump, and then I'll tell you what the plan always was.
Looking at the whole Gaza Strip right now, and it's a mess. It's a real mess.
So you'd like Jordan to house people from
I'd
Gaza?
like him to take people. I'd like Egypt to take people. I'm talking to General El-Sisi tomorrow sometime.
So he's saying I'd like Egypt to take some of the Palestinians because Gaza's wiped out, which it is.
And I'd like Egypt to take people, and I'd like Jordan to take people.
So Egypt and Jordan. He wants Egypt. So he wants to ship the Palestinians from their homeland instead of building houses again in Gaza and building their.
Yeah, we know, asshole. Yeah, Biden and Harris were for a two-state solution. Biden and Harris were for the Palestinians to be able to stay, even with their view of how Hamas had to be wiped out. The idea was that you could rebuild it on their behalf. Whereas Trump called them a cancer, called them the problem, said you have to solve it very quickly, which, again, does not sound like something you say when you give a fuck about civilian casualties. And he talked about the value of the property there and how beautiful it was. And so now, welcome to the Kushner condos.
Communities back up. He wants to ship them to Jordan and Egypt and build them houses there.
Yeah. Well,
no, I don't. Well, I don't know that he wants to build them houses there. I don't know. I think you're giving him a little more credit.
You know what the only argument was always going to be? Are they going to go there, or are they going to be brought to Europe and America? That was what they were always going to let them slaughter all the people and take them out for the greater Israel. But what was the fight going to be at the end? Are they coming here, or are they going to go to Egypt and Jordan? That's what the real fight has been.
No, it hasn't. Fuck you talking about? The Biden administration and the Harris administration were like, well, we'll set this up so that we'll just scare people into the Palestinians are going to come here, or the idea that we're going to bring them here. Is that what he's saying? Is it that Harris, had she won, was going to bring the Palestinians to the United States, and that was a threat somehow? Is that where he's? It's hard to parse out because it's such bullshit.
I mean, you're talking about probably 1.5 million people.
He's talking about 1.5 million people.
We just clean out that.
And we clean out that whole thing.
Over the centuries, that's many, many conflicts that site. And I don't know. It's something has to happen, but it's literally a demolition site right now. Almost everything's demolished.
Oh, yeah, he says it's literally a demolition site, meaning Gaza. Almost everything's demolished.
And people are dying there.
Yeah, we can kind of hear them, and the words are on the screen. If you just lifted it up a little bit, we could actually see it a little better. It's really at the bottom of the thing. Like, literally, there's a... I mean, you're playing fucking TikTok videos,
So I'd
dickhead.
rather get involved with some of the Arab nations and build housing in a different location.
So he said, let's get involved with other Arab nations and build housing in a different location. Why not just build housing there in Gaza?
Because when he met with Netanyahu last fall and during the summer, they discussed undermining the peace deals that Biden was seeking out until such time as Trump got into office. And then they would just obliterate the area and own it, and Trump would hand it to them. And while all the fucking uncommitteds and the fucking genocide Joe fuckers were all stomping around Chicago outside the DNC, yelling at the people who actually were trying to stabilize and move to a two-state solution and slow this shit down, Donald Trump was meeting with them down there. And none of those people were anywhere to be seen when Netanyahu showed up at Mar-a-Lago. Not a fucking one of them. Did you remember the people who marched around Mar-a-Lago and were like, you know, Trump is for genocide. We support the Palestinians. Two-state solution. Anybody remember those people? Right? How about interrupting him during a speech? Anybody? Nope. Right.
Because that was the plan all along.
Yes, between Trump and Netanyahu.
So the reason why Benjamin Netanyahu and the Likud party in Israel funded Hamas was so that they...
No, they tried to buy them off at one point because it worked with the Palestinian Authority. That's what the money was for. They weren't funding them for the attack. Don't be a dick.
Too late. That Hamas would do a terrorist attack. And
yeah, they paid for the terrorist attack. That's right. That's why Trump was bragging that Iran had no money because they didn't even need it. Apparently, Israel paid for those bombs and the little fucking helicopters that they
use that
made.
Because they knew that attack was coming. They funded it. They were warned a year ahead of time. They had the plans for it. Egypt.
Yeah, they didn't think it was possible. They thought it was nuts. This has been asked and answered. We've been through this shit.
7 days ahead of time, told them this was going to happen. Gaza's the most surveilled place in the world.
No, it's not.
Mossad knows exactly what they're doing. They let it happen so that they
told
could
them to have a rave next to it.
So that they told them to have a rave next. So they let it happen so they could use that as an excuse to flatten the whole of Gaza. So there would be nothing for those people to move back.
Okay, so all I can think is this has to be the deep state is behind all this, because if it didn't matter if Biden was in office and what the policy was, or Trump was in office and what the policy was, that this was always going to happen. That apparently, if Biden had continued and won, or if Harris had won, they would have both been in the same gaggle on the 25th of January saying, clean the place out, relocate the Palestinians, and hand the land over to Israel. Right? That's the idea. That's the deep state working. Fuck me.
And so then someone like Trump could come in and say, hey, let's move them out. Let's move them to Jordan. Let's move them to... That was always the plan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they were working with Trump. Right.
So that Israel could take over Gaza and the West Bank, and now they're taking over parts of Lebanon and Syria.
Trump already recognized the Golan Heights, which is part of Lebanon, as theirs.
And believe me, parts of Egypt are on their plans too. It's called Greater Israel. Look it up. And if you think that's where Israel's going to stop. Yeah,
this is all parts of Trump's plan. If you follow this, if you've been following along and not taking notes. So what Trump's going to do is relocate the Palestinians to Egypt, and then the Israelis, because they missed the fight, are going to claim those parts of Egypt. Just because they're so mean. What?
They're not. They're not just going to stop at Gaza. They're not going to stop at the West Bank. They're not going to stop at...
Where does the river and sea, where did that end?
They're not going to just...
That one.
That's right. They're not going to stop at just a little part of... It's like, you know what? I don't know if you've ever lived with a woman and she says, I'm just going to...
Yeah, this is going to be a great analogy. I can feel it.
I'm going to take this little part of your toilet, the little part of your sink in your bathroom. I'm just going to take a little bit of part of your vanity. Just this little part of your mind. It's like that, except add genocide.
Oh, my God. Just the laziness. Again, for the record, it's a very serious issue with very complicated aspects of it. And two sides in the circumstance that have people that were working in good faith and people who were working in bad faith, and people who were subverting the peace process and people who were sticking to it and trying their hardest, and outside actors who thought it was possible and outside actors who thought it wasn't possible. It's a fucking complex situation. And this asshole boils it down to chicks, am I right? Also, and I want to, I think we actually have is a troll in here today? Yeah, there you go. I would like to thank the trolls for being here. It's excellent. I think the sharing is working, guys. It really does help. It's fantastic. And it's great that you guys are here, the maggots and the trolls, because you share us out to parts of the internet that others can't. So, yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's fantastic. Also, I wish you guys would at least use a fake real name as opposed to just kind of like a handle, like you're a trucker in the early 80s. It just it just proves that you're afraid to say in the open who you are and what you're about, you know? And so nobody takes you, you know, I mean, we don't need it. I mean, obviously we benefit because every time you write something, it boosts me in the algorithm because it says to YouTube, you know, this person not only is worth watching, but he's engaging. It's great. I'm for it. Don't get me wrong. All right. And I'm over time already. God damn. All right. Well, we did cover a lot today. And we had fucking Glenn Beck on a horse. There was one more thing that I had in here that I wanted to show you guys. That it? Nope. Yeah. No, I think that's, oh, well, if I do get into it, it's just going to be all night. It's just going to be, you just know it. And none of us need to see like Kristi Noem's first remarks at DHS or any of this stuff. It's not going to tell us anything. It's the same shit. She's going to blather whatever. Yeah. And nobody needs any more Sean Hannity in their life. Not tonight anyway. So I will see you guys. Yeah, Boston Brian's live. I'm going to kick you guys over to his Twitch channel. So I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Let's see if I can... Okay, it's not in there. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. It's got to be on Credum. Yeah, we'll do that. And we'll send you over that way. Really appreciate you guys being... Whoops, where'd you go? There we go. There he is. This is Boston Brian live. He's coming in there in just a second. He's going live soon. I hope so. Is he already up or is he up in half an hour? I hope he's up. Oh, yeah, I see. Something's happening. All right, we'll send you over there now. Hold on. And I'll run a raid. Give me 1 second. And we'll pop you guys in. I appreciate you guys. Hit that like on your way out. And I want to thank again the trolls for being here. Your brutal weakness is appreciated. But, hey, eyeballs are eyeballs. So let's go in here. And then... Boston Brian is the Brian from Boston, and we like him so much we can barely stand it. I'm trying to bring off. Oh, where's this channel? Hold on. Oh no, I've got it. Hold on. Back up here. Oh, he does the underscore. That's why. Son of a dog doodle. All right, let me do this. Yeah, I'm following him. So is he not on yet? Or is he going to be on in a half an hour? Yeah. So, roll that bean footage. Well, I'm just worried about the kidney showing up and...
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
That is true. That is true. I guess I got 1 minute. He's going to be up in 1 minute. Okay, I'm going to hold for a second. I don't mind stealing bread from the mouths of decadence. I can feed off the powerless when my cup's already overfilled. Let's see. I'm waiting for him to pop up on my thing. I'm taking it off. But it's on the table, the fire's cooking. Sorry, sorry, Alien Fields. Ask how they care about Africa? You mean the only show that keeps bringing up Sudan in the face of all this shit when nobody else gives a goddamn? I look forward to your quotes about all the things you pretend to care about. Thank you, trolls. And I gotta be honest. I can't do it. I want to engage in a real way, but I really don't give a shit. So I kind of just do that to make you type more because it benefits the show. I feel so dirty when I do it, and yet it helps. So, and I don't care about you because you hide behind your a fake moniker or whatever, And again, we like you being here because it's good that you hear this perspective because I understand, it's something bubble, whatever. All right, I'm gonna reload that page. Come on, Boston and Brian, gonna be on the thing. I'm waiting. There we go. Because I'm following him, it should pop. There he is. Hey, all right, look at that. Start the raid. He's starting soon. We'll send everybody over there. Excellent. So if you're on Twitch, we will be sending you over to Boston Brian, our dear friend. Blunt Politics, Boston Brian, starting right now. Send my love and my congratulations on his hitting 10K followers. And off you go. Boom. I got to turn this off because I don't want to get a copyright strike from my friend. Knock. I don't want to stream together. I can't do that. I have to leave them alone. Raid. There you go. All right, now you guys are over there. Have fun. People on YouTube, hop over, and he's got a YouTube channel as well. At some point, I will be able to raid that channel as well. But now I have to. Anybody else here build a ramp with plywood and 2x4s in between the morning show and the afternoon? No, just me. Huh. Like, I guess I'm the only person who is comfortable working for a living. Is that? Thanks everybody. Patreon.com/HalSparks. Give us a little bit of love. Okay.
Twice already. What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? Let's see. I'm just waiting for myself. Yeah, there we go. I knew it. Easy in the chat. How's everybody doing? Unfortunately, I can hear myself back in my ear, which I don't think I'll be able to remedy. Let's see. If I can fix it without acting on my stuff. Can you hear me now?
Jen, thank you so much. I didn't see that till the end of the show. Holy smokes. Appreciate that.